one more? Oh, okay. My name is John Stroud, and hope that folks that are in the BNI group here today won't mind that I share a little bit about Bob. But in the first paragraph at the end there's a thing called Business Networking International. Bob was really involved in that. And back about 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, myself and Cindy and a mortgage broker started this group, and we grew it to a good size. And I think you guys were at the second or third meeting. I mean, it was pretty quick. Ellen came for a while, and then Bob started showing up, and we always used to say, "Where's your better half?" But one of the things that we used to say, or that is the kind of the creed, if you will, of business networking and international, is the giver's gain, and the whole idea that the more you give, the more that others will want to give back. And Bob he lived that. And when we would go, he was recently in leadership in that group. And when we would sit down and talk about how we could grow the group and how we could do better and get people better referrals and that kind of stuff, his main goal and his main concern was, how do we get the folks that are in that group more referrals? Because he was always concerned about them. So, great friend. Used to love to come over to the shop, and I never let him do an oil change quickly. I always had to stand there and talk with him. So I know he probably was thinking, "Stroud, get out of here. I got to get this oil done." But he was so much fun to stand around and talk with, and so he'll be greatly missed. And I think I speak for the BNI folks that it's not going to be the same there without him. So we look forward to having him back.
Grandpa would sometimes take me to his shop, and I would watch him, and we would talk a little bit. And when I was there, I would sometimes go, and he would sometimes show me into this little room that had some toys and games, magazines. And we would chat sometimes and watch movies together on shows. And he was a good man, but always be outside us and
I'm Mike Squires, and I've been with Point Hope United Methodist Church, I guess about 5 years when it started here. And one of the first people I met, one of the first times I remember Bob was bringing coffee in. He used to bring the coffee in, and I think John sort of gotten that task now. But Bob was always such a giving person, and I guess when I really got to realize how much the church meant to him was when we were thinking about the building down the street and how he got involved with the contractors and trying to see what we could do with that building, and just the commitment that Bob had to his church. Most of the church folks here know that I've been in funeral service all of my life, not in a funeral home every day, but in the funeral profession. And so it was Saturday night, or Saturday, when I was told about Bob, and I called Joe, and I called Ellen just to say, Ellen, use me if you have any questions or whatever. And she told me two things, and she said, we talked about it, and we wanted to be cremated, and she said, we don't want to have any service. And I said to her, the one thing that I said to her is, just think about giving the community the opportunity. And so from me, I just want to thank you for allowing this community the opportunity for us to come and to share and be. And I think one of the best kept secrets that Bob kept from us was this beautiful family that he's got. And thank you for that service that you did a while ago and how meaningful. And thank you for allowing us to be a part of that. It was real special. One thing I wasn't going to mention it because I hadn't talked to Ellen if I could, but she brought it up, and I just want to mention one other thing that she told me when I talked to her the other night. She talked about Bob being an organ donor, and that she was going to, offer if there was, if they could use any parts. In the funeral profession, we deal with organ procurement organizations, and there's an organization called LifePoint that governs all of that. And a couple of weeks ago, I was in Columbia, and as a funeral director, didn't hear this side of it, but I heard from a father that spoke of a son that he lost, and he said it so it really touched my heart. That, you know, Mount Pleasant is a very affluent place where we live. But when we die, all that we leave on this earth is this earthly body. And the ultimate gift that Bob and that Ellen made of using and giving that body to someone else. And it just struck me that one of the things they talked about at this meeting the other day, and I look at this flag, and I know that Bob was in military, and they shared about how our bravest are coming home with all of these wounds and afflictions, and how body donation and the parts and what they're able to do with the people that are willing, and how in Bob's death that he is still giving. And what a neat thing. And so it's just a testimony. And I thank you, Ellen, for allowing us to come and be here today. And truly, you see the word celebrate, that we come here today to celebrate the life of Bob. He was a pretty neat guy.
We love your shirt, by the way.
Well, I like you say, the first thing I said to Gloria, I said, I need a tie. And she said, Bob would have said, don't.
Maybe we could catch some fish out of it.
You can expect a longer than expected service when you touch so many lives, and I appreciate the stories that have been told today. And I appreciate you being willing to listen to them and participate with them. Let us pray together. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, for the love and the adoration that is shown, for the stories that were told, for the ways in which Bob affected our lives. We thank you for him. And we ask that your presence may be amongst us beyond today and in the coming weeks as we struggle with his loss. Give us safe travel as we turn to our homes. Help us to care for one another in our grief. With the confidence of God's children, help us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever. Immediately following my remarks, we'll hear Amazing Grace. Each one of you is invited to Bob and Ellen's house to greet them. I would recommend that if you are going there, that you wait to sign the book until after then, and that those who cannot would sign the book directly following this service.